as they start their game here. But our second game of the doubleheader this evening is going to be Elfitus Australis versus Nuffle to see here. It's Eric versus Clypheus, Wood Elves versus Chaos Chosen. Clypheus, Season 2 champion. Eric, new to the league, at the top of the standings here in second place, behind current league champion Doug the Minotaur and his White Skull Windbreakers. I'm going to head over to Discord, see if the coaches are ready to go. Looks like they're both ready to go. Life is asked, you want to just get started? Yeah, just go ahead and get started. That's cool. Thanks. That's what I'm waiting for anyway. What else versus Chaos Chosen? This is Adge versus Bash. Chaos team. I can't quite remember, but I think they're still a little behind on the skills they're looking for to be a potent kill squad. But still a solid Bashy team. They're going to be up against this Wood Elf team. Very fragile team. They have AV7 across the board, 2 War Dancers, and a whole bunch of linemen. If Eric wins the coin toss, he's going to undoubtedly start on defense to ensure he has 11 players on the roster. All right, here we go. 45K in petty cash for Nuffle to see here this evening. I'm sorry, that was the treasury. 260K in petty cash for Nuffle to see here. See who they can pick up. How's Eldril Sidewinder? He's got to pick up who? What is? Oh, Nerves of Steel. That's what the brain is. So he's picking up Eldril Sidewinder. Has Hypno. Here's the coin toss. We'll see who wins this coin toss. Enough to see her wins it. I imagine he's might pick up defense here. That's exactly what he does. Nuffle to see here with 3 rerolls. Both teams in the sweet spot with 3 rerolls. Nuffle to see here, a Chaos Chosen team. You can see they have a bunch of Mighty Blow players, lots of Horns players. All the Beastmen have Horns. That means they're going to get a +1 to strength on a Blitz, and that means he doesn't really have to choose his Blitzer. He has lots and lots of options. You have the Strength 4 Chosen Blockers, very similar to the Sauruses we just saw a few minutes ago, but a distinct lack of block on this roster. Just 2 players with block. Prosobagnosia, the number 6 lineman, and Blepharospasm, number 10, both have a block seal, but that's it. Nuffle to see here is currently setting up with a 7-player line. Strong on the left side here. The left end, Myopia over in the left wide zone. 8 on the line now. Does he know he's on defense? 2 in either wide zone. Those are the, I was going to say it's the 2 block players, but it's not. 1 block Beastman over in the right wide zone, and is that Strip Ball? Yeah, Strip Ball Wrestle player over on the left, along with Keratitis, the Mighty Blow Beastman. He's going to swap out with Myopia. That's the Strip Ball Wrestle player. Wood Elves, fast, agile. War Dancers are a menace. And of course they have Eldril Sidewinder. So you can see we saw on the ball in play in the previous game. He has Catch, Dodge, and Nerves of Steel. He also has Hypnotic Gaze as well. You see this on a vampire team. Eldril Sidewinder has it here for the Wood Elf team. Somebody really, really needs to cut the grass on this pitch. You should be ashamed, Elfitus Australis. Now the team with a kicker. Eldritch Sidewinder, the star player. He will be starting on this offense. Two linemen wide. Here's the kick. Eldritch Sidewinder on the ball. On a pass or a kick, he gets to move 3 spaces. We'll probably pull him back. No, he's going to leave him up on the line. And now a blitz. Rolls a D1, rolls a 1 on the D3 on the blitz. 4 unmarked players can take a turn here. Unfortunately, a lot of this team already marked on the line. We'll see if Nuffle to see here goes in for a cheeky blitz. I imagine they will. And reposition their defense. Oh no, instead he's going to apply pressure. Keratitis, the mighty low lineman, is going to run around the left wide zone and start to apply pressure. Two-die blitz in the right wide zone, gets a pal before the game has started. 8+ breaks armor. There it is! Nothing like a pre-game injury. I love it. 1-man player advantage for Nuffle to see here in turn 0. AV8 Plus used to be called AV7 in the LRB6. It's not terribly difficult. Not terribly difficult to meet. Ball's going to bounce into the end zone. Very, very deep kick by Nuffle to see here, and they're going to end that turn with every single one of their players on the line and 2 across the line of scrimmage. Serious Alan Parsons is back to receive. He's the number 3 catcher. MA8, strength 2. AG2, as are every single one of the players on this roster. Slowest player is MA7. Some of the best linemen in the game, in my opinion. Takes the blitz, get the knockdown on Keratitis, and is going to move Michael Jordan back, the number 1 war dancer, to try to protect this ball. Eldritch Sidewinder comes back as well. I bought this toy. Check us out. There's like a, I don't know what you want to call it, an event, a limited time, I don't know, like a thing called Shin Japan Heroes. And it's 4 different properties that a gentleman by the name of Hideaki Anno, it represents 4 things that he directed. He's a director in Japan. He's probably most famous for the cartoon Neon Genesis Evangelion. Failed the 2+ pickup here. Does he re-roll it and risk this ball going out of bounds? Oh boy. That'll be a turnover. The ball will stay in the end zone. Probably most famous for Neon Genesis Evangelion. But the project are 4 movies that he worked on with the word Shin, and Shin means like new or true in Japanese. Long story short, it combines Eva, it combines Ultraman, it combines Masked Rider, and it combines Godzilla. So I bought this toy. That's all 4 of those toys, and in in Japanese toy fashion, they all combine into a giant robot. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Godzilla's head's like poking out of the chest. The top half of Ava Unit 1 is like is like the left arm, and like the bottom half is the right leg. And like Master Rider is just like sitting in the head. Nuffle to see here after the failed ball pickup. Very unfortunate here for Eric. Nuffle to see here continuing to apply the pressure. Two-die block back at the line of scrimmage is going to be a push result against Macho the Dagger. Remember, all those beastmen, when they blitz, their strength is 4. Has one player with Claw, another player with Mighty Blow, but not a single player with both those skills together. Claw, Mighty Blow, and Piling On used to be a devastating combo. I would argue it still is, but was real scary in the old rule set. Turn 2 now for Elfitus Australis. Ball is resting in the end zone. I imagine if this is a failed pickup, they're going to re-roll that. Oh, they got catch. They can't re-roll it. Or rather, it's a free re-roll. Two-die block against Blepharospasm. It's either a both standing result or a push. It's going to go for the push. Scottie Pippen, the number 2 War Dancer. Two of the Chicago Bulls now playing Blood Bowl for this Wood Elf team. Michael Jordan trading in the Air Jordans for, I don't know, they're kind of Air Jordan-y. Maybe he hasn't traded them in at all. Air Wood Elves. Eric deliberating over the turn. This is an important turn to try to keep this ball safe after this chaos pressure. A lot of the game of Blood Bowl is, I shouldn't say a lot of the game, but a lot of the fundamentals of the game are making your actions less risky and your opponent's actions more risky. So if you do the game of Blood Bowl, you see a bunch of dice being rolled and you go, ah, man, what a random game. And there's certainly, obviously, randomness to the game. But better players win more consistently. This game's been played for decades, and there's a reason why better players play more consistently. Spent the reroll here on the 1 die against Keratitis gets the push. And that's because the game provides so much agency that there's lots of strategies, there are lots of tactics to employ, and better coaches can do that. So sort of a standard fundamental concept of Blood Bowl is know your probabilities and know how to make your dice safe. So when you go in for your action order, right, with rare exceptions, stab would be an exception, but with rare exception, when you fail a die roll in Blood Bowl, your turn is over. It's called a turnover. So if you have 11 players on the pitch and you fail your first die roll with your first action player, you've just lost 10 actions, and that can be bad. So you want to take your least risky actions first, all things being equal. You take your least risky actions first and your more risky actions second. And that generally means things like taking your 3-die blocks if you have any, taking your 2-die blocks with the block skill, then your 2-die blocks, and so on and so forth, and then dodging. So you can see he's dodging around these players here. And new coaches, especially like a new player that comes into, say, an elf team like this, or a wood elf team, will say, they say, oh, okay, well, I'm marked on the line and I want to get away, so I'm just going to dodge. When really you should be thinking about, how do I make that safe? If I want to get away, what are my options for getting away, and can I make that safer? And often you can. If you can get a 2-die block out of it, well, that would be preferable. And then you can push the player away, and now you're safe, rather than risking just the straight-up dodge. So you'll see action order being a big part of these games, where coaches will, spend the first part of their turn just moving players freely around, and then they'll start to take the blocks that are most advantageous, and then less advantageous, and then they'll start getting into the risky stuff. But another part of that is knowing when to take a risk and when not to. It's fun to roll dice, but if you roll dice willy-nilly, you're going to have a bad time. Often you'll see that with big guys. Big guys usually have a nega trait, like this Chaos Ogre here. Diplopia? I don't know what that is. But the nega trait for him is he'll roll a d6 before action, and if he rolls a 1, he's boneheaded. So he'll lose his action and he'll lose his tackle zones, and he has a loner skill. So if you burn your reroll, you might not even get to use it. So Gilshi wants us willy-nilly than in my dice. I only throw them willy-nilly. So with these big guys, it can be very, very risky to take an action with them, because if you fail that die roll, there's a 50-50 shot that it's going to be a turnover regardless. So you'll see better coaches, they'll know when to action the big guy and when to just let that strength 5 exert tackle zones. Gets a knockdown on Chimichurri, the number 11 lineman, way back in Wood Elf territory. This ball still hanging out in the Wood Elf end zone. Turn 3, back to Elfitus Australis. So the Chaos team descending on this Elf team. There's really just 2 Chaos players that are back across the line of scrimmage. And that's strip ball player Myopia, and then Prosobic Gnosia, the number 6 Mighty Blow blocker lineman, is back in the safety position, marking Old Branch, the number 5 lineman who threatened to go down pitch. Two-die blitz into a push here against Strabismus, injured Beastman. Setting up players here. He might be... Gets a knockdown on Blepharospasm. Might be trying to move the ball this way. Wow, good injury here. Well done. All tied up on the pitch now, 10v10. One of those aggressive beastmen has been removed. War Dancers. One of my favorite pieces in the game of Blood Bowl. There's lots of great pieces in Blood Bowl. War Dancers, level 1, they have block, they have dodge, they have leap, they have MA8, they have AG2+. They are nightmares. And you can see Eric here setting up the pocket to shift this ball over to the right. Fails a dodge though. Spends a final reroll here. Knows he's up against that strength 4 chosen blocker, takes the block, gets the knockdown. Elfitus Australis with no rerolls left for the half here in turn 3. And indeed, he shifts that ball back into that pocket he just created. Advances this ball to his own 16-yard line. Stands up old branch way down pitch. And gets away from Prosopagnosia, number 6 Beastman. Turn 3, back to Nuffle to see here. All 3 rerolls remaining. 10v10 on the pitch. Who's that ogre? Really keeping the pressure on these elves. Has no fear of them getting behind him. I find it very weird how you can hear the war dancers as they like do their katas or whatever it is they're doing. It's like they're mic'd up. There's the blitz, 2-die blitz against Michael Jordan into double pals. 8+ breaks armor. Speaking of odds, if you're new to Blood Bowl or even just new to games with dice in general, you'll look at the armor value and you say, oh, 8+. That's fine. That's not all that different from 9+. It is very different from 9+. And that's because if you think of you're rolling 2 dice, right? So if you think of it, of how many ways you can roll a 7, there's lots of ways to roll a 7. You can roll a 1 and a 6, and a 2 and a 5, or a 5 and a 2, and a 4 and a 3, and so on. But there's only one way to roll, say, a 12. So, or 3 ways to roll an 11 or higher. So if you're trying to roll an 8 or higher, that is a huge difference from, say, a 9 or higher. And every single point of armor value is a significant difference. Two-die blitz with Michael Jordan is going to get the knockdown on Strabismus. Moves in, gets the assist on Presbyopia. 2-die block, gets a pal. Breaks armor, wow! Breaks armor, got a KO. Well done, great removal here. 1-man player advantage back to Elfitus Australis. Clearing out this pitch a little bit. Yeah, good dodges by the star player Eldril Sidewinder. 2+2+ to mark Myopia. Two+ dodge by Chimichurri to mark Keratitis over in the left wide zone. Still has a tackle zone to get through, but he does indeed do it. Alan Parsons is going to cross the line of scrimmage, and now this ball's on the opposing 2-yard line for the first time in this ball game. Elfitus Australis is going to have to be careful about scoring early. 2 good dodges to get Pocho the Panther, the number 8 lineman, back in this game behind the majority of this Chaos team. A good dodge by Macho the Dagger to do the same over in the right wide zone. Elfitus Australis down to 4 minutes 45 seconds on the bonus clock, dodging all day long. Turn forward back to Nuffle to see here. Final turn of the first quarter. Nuffle to see here. Applied that pressure, was successful for a quarter, but those elves got behind him, and now he's going to need to find a way to stop this offense. Currently has the 2-die on Eldril. Eldril's a star player, but still only an AV of 8+. 2-die block against Chimichurri will be a knockdown. Breaks armor. Gets a stun. Wood Elf teams can be hesitant to want to stall against a more bashy team. Simply because you don't want to take the hits. AV8 is not a lot, and you don't want to give up the hits. I shouldn't say normally, but often what you'll see with a low AV team like Wood Elves against a more bashy team is, if they want to stall, they'll come back here first, play it out here, and then go forward. That's exactly what has happened here. It just didn't. It didn't happen under Eric's volition. 2-die block gets a pow on the ball carrier. We'll see where the ball scatters. The ball's going to scatter in the left wide zone, but that catcher is going to remain on the pitch. No armor break by Prosopagnosia. Mighty Blow Blitzer. Or a Beastman who blitzed and happens to have Mighty Blow. Takes a 1-die against Eldril Sidewinder, but do you know who he is? Do you know who he is? You can't knock that man down. Second quarter begins. Elfitus, Australis lost control of this ball. The ball bounced back to their own 4-yard line, but their ball carrier remains on the pitch. Dead Freddy says, these elves have strong armor. They do indeed. 2-die blitz against Prosopagnosia will be a knockdown. Looking for a 9+ here. Doesn't get it. Plenty of movement left with Scotty Pippen. It'll be a 2+ pickup, seemingly with the catcher. Yes, indeed. Doug the Minotaur, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. It's very nice. Very kind. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for participating. Thank you for the sub. And I will not weigh in on the matter. I absolutely have no opinion. Kill the elves. I have no opinion at all. I have no opinion at all. I think every team is equal in... Kill the elves, kill the elves, kill the elves. Equal in the eyes of the commissioners. After the successful pickup by the catcher, the ball is going to advance to the opposing 6-yard line in the left wide zone. Oh no, failed the dodge. You're going to fail those dodges eventually. Got a stun out of it. At least he stays alive. Turn 5 back to Nuffle to see here. 2-die block on the Panther is a push. This is back at mid-pitch. Trying to leverage Mighty Blow there to start getting some removals, getting some casualties here. Mighty Blow gives you a +1 to your armor or your injury roll, whichever you need it for. Meaning if the +1 would, if you would need the +1 to break that armor, you would use it there. Otherwise, you'd get to use it on the injury roll. Very good skill. 2-die push against the Panther will be a push. Another block against the Panther coming up. And it is another push. Nimble, nimble elves. These chosen blockers with the strength of 4. Strength of 4 is another thing that can be deceivingly strong in the game of Blood Bowl. An average strength is a strength of 3. In the game of Blood Bowl, when you go to take a block action, you compare the strength of your player against the opposing player. If they are equal, you roll 1 die and use that result. If your strength is greater, you roll 2 dice and you pick the die that you want to use. If it is more than twice as strong, it's 3 dice and you pick the die that you want to choose. That works both ways. So if you're blocking someone else who's stronger than you are, that's called an uphill block, and it's 2 dice, and they will get to pick the result. So, strength 3 versus strength 3 would be a 1 die block. Ooh, gets a pal here on Old Branch on the blitz. He'll mark the ball carrier. Breaks armor. Oh, this is a great armor break. Got a KO out of it as well. Great removal here. Turn 6 coming up for Elfitus Australis. The catcher is going to lose a player who can help protect him, who can assist for him. But the 2 die blitz coming in by Zangief? Did I read that right? By Zangief, King of the Iron Fist. Gets a great armor break in turn. Gets a stun on Prosopagnosia. So strength 3 versus strength 3. That'll be a 1 die block. Think about what that means to get the 2 die block. You just need 1 assist. And now you have 4 versus 3. Each assist gives you a +1 to your strength. So that's 2 die block, no problem. But now consider you're blocking someone who's strength 4 and you're strength 3, like these chosen blockers here. Well, 1 assist gets you the 1 die block. 2 assists gets you the 2 die block that you're looking for. So now you've dedicated 3 players to this 1 defender, right? And that's why big guys with their typical strength of 5 are so good. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, 4 players that you'd have to dedicate to get the 2 die block on these big guys. And even logistically, sometimes that's difficult because you can't be marked by an opposing player in order to lend the assist unless you have the guard skill. So 4 of the 4 adjacent spaces would have to be clear for you to lend all those assists. So strength can also be deceivingly strong in this game. Edge, not so deceiving. 2 plus edge, I think everybody sort of groks how that works. Turn 6 now for Nuffle to see here. The Ogre is going to mark Michael Jordan and Zangief. They're to the left and behind the ball carrier. Elfitus Australis trying to stall this out for as long as possible. Probably, they may feel okay scoring on turn 7 here. Did a great job here on offense. Early defensive pressure looked like it might be successful, but the Elves were able to break free. You have to be real careful against these high agility, high speed teams that you don't get left behind. Just 1 hole, 1 breakthrough, and now suddenly your defense is left behind. You just can't catch them. That's why you'll often see teams against, say, Skaven teams with their MA9 gutter runners that dodge and their edge too. You just want to screen them out. You just want to stay between them and where they want to go. You want to be between them and the end zone and just make them roll dice. If you can lock them down, go for it. If you can get the block on them, of course, go for it. But it's often too risky to just kind of YOLO into them, hoping the the dice work out. 2-die blitz against Macho the Dagger. Gets a pal here. 8+ breaks armor. He's got it. Gets a KO. Well done. And now a one-man player advantage back to the Wood Elves. Can you believe it? Sorry, a one-man player advantage to the Chaos team. I can believe that. Gelshy1 says, that's what happened to the Bone Breakers. Eric got 3 goals in them. That was a hard lesson that I was slow to learn. Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated game. I mean, it's not complicated as in unfun. I love this game, but there's just a lot going on in the game to learn, and we've all been there. And even time to time, we all go back there. Sometimes we know we're taking a block maybe we shouldn't take, or making a move maybe we shouldn't do, and it bites us. But it gets real interesting, right? When you start to learn the game, you start to play coaches that have learned the game, and now, you know, you understand action order and you understand probability, but your opponent does as well. So now they're trying to mess you up. They're trying to force you to take turns out of order. And that's where a lot of the fun comes in. Turn 7 for Nuffle to see here. So Elfitus, Australis are going to stall this out till turn 8. I guess she once says, I don't know about that. Willy-nilly have never led me astray for too long. I'm going to keep 2-die uphill blocking the biggins. you go for it. But even the uphill blocks, right? Like, you can be real afraid of the uphill blocks. You can say, oh, I'm never going to do that. But sometimes it's not a bad option. Especially if all you need is a push or something. Or sometimes it's just about doing the calculus on the risk. Like, well, if I go for this and lose, what does it mean? Is it completely inconsequential for me? Well, then I might as well go for it. Turn 8 for Elfitus Australis. Nothing to do here but to walk the ball in. They don't have any rerolls left. Probably don't want to take any risks. Walk this ball in. Give one turn to this Chaos team. Two-die block, get the push. Gelshy1 asks, if you have block, it is only a turnover at 33%, right? It depends what you're going for, but if you're taking the 2-die uphill, only the skull is the only thing. Oh, showboating into the end zone. 1-0 the score. Oh no, what's happened? What's happened? Oh, there we go. Boy, my one monitor was freaking out. Guess you want to ask how we greedy blitzing. No, it's just showing up. 1-0 the score here. But if the only thing you're worried about is the skull, if you have the block skill and a push would be fine for you, then there's just a 1 in 6 on a single die that it's a risk. So the 2 dice would be like not a 1/3 chance, it'd be more like a 2/3 chance. just Eric must know Willie. Just one turn left in the first half here, unless of course there's a timeout. Nuffle to see here, hoping that's the case and they can get on the board because they're going to be on offense to start the second half of this game. Three on the line for Elfitus Australis. Everybody else screening out the end zone, as you do. It's a high kick for Nuffle to see here. They're looking for some casualties, and then they'll start the second half of this game. 3 blocks to take. Didn't get anything out of the first one. Looking for an 8+, 7+ with Mighty Blow here. Breaks armor. Only got a stun. Takes a 3-die with the Ogre. Gets a pal. Mighty Blow in play again. Just a 7+. Breaks armor. Got a KO. We'll see if it sticks. Nuffle to see here. Are they considering a foul? Going for the pass to get some SPP on Stereognosis here. Successful completion gives 1 SPP to the thrower. SPP stands for Star Player Points. They're the experience points of Blood Bowl. It's how you level up and improve your players over time. 4 main ways to gain SPP. Well, 4 ways, period, to gain SPP in the game of Blood Bowl. There's passing for 1 SPP. There's inflicting a casualty for 2 SPP, scoring a touchdown for 3 SPP, and being declared the MVP of the game for 4 SPP. Not sure what's going on here. Nuffle to see here. Declaring a pass, but not... Wait, something's very wrong here. Okay. I think it was just a hiccup in the network connection. 1-0 the score. I just saw like there was nothing on the clock, nothing was happening. Elfitus Australis going to get back 1 of their KOs, as is Nuffle to see here. It's going to be 11v9 on the pitch. 2-man player advantage for Nuffle to see here to start the second half of this game. 3 re-rolls apiece. El Nubrita says it's a beastman passing the ball. That's what's very wrong. The game logic just gave up. They're like, come on, dude. Oh, he's got 10? 7, 8, 9, 10. He does have 10. So a 1-man player advantage for Nuffle to see here. Elfitus Australis looks to be setting up in this offset anchor. Pestigors are much better passers. You know, I heard those Sauruses are pretty good at passing. No, I'm sorry. You know who's good at passing? Treemen. Treemen are good at passing. Yeshiwan rooting for the defense. Wants this Elvish team to win this game. They're in the lead currently. All right, so a spread offset anchor here. There's a number of spaces in the secondary. 3 linebackers, 3 on the line, shifted to the right. Nuffle to see here currently with a 7-player line. If the game were to end right now, Elfitus Australis would be tied for first place with the White Skull Windbreakers. No kicker on this Elf team. Currently 2 back to receive. He can get away with 1 if he wants. Beastmen have an MA of 6, so if you think about that, right? All this space. They can cover all of this. Eight on the line, strong on the left. Going back down to 7 on the line. Back up to 8. Elden Brand asks, what's the other skill on the Beastman with wrestles? Strip ball. I can't select it, but it's strip ball. So 2 back to receive here with the kickoff return team. Ended up with 7 on the line. Pulled that end off the left wide zone. Here's the kick. Deep kick. Boy, Nuffle. Nuffle. Brilliant coaching the kickoff result here. Elfitus Australis is going to go up to 4 re-rolls for the remainder of the game. 2-die block to get things started on the left defensive end will be a push. But now the dagger will get a POW against Nystagmus. Breaks armor. Other way around. Nystagmus is going to get it against the dagger. Gets a stun out of it. Unlike the LRB6, or rather, I should say, in the LRB6, in the old rulebook, brilliant coaching and cheering fans had the same effect of giving you an extra reroll. They just used different resources to calculate it. So, brilliant coaching would use your assistant coaches, while cheering fans would use your cheerleaders. In this version of the game, that's different. Brilliant coaching still behaves the same way, and while cheerleaders does use your cheerleader, instead of giving you an extra reroll, cheering fans gives you a prayer to Nuffle on the new Prayers to Nuffle table, where all sorts of things could happen. Two-die blitz against the Panther. Gets a knockdown here. 8+. Has claw. So the way claw works is basically whoever he blocks, they're effectively an AV of 8+. Not a very effective skill against this team, but quite an effective skill against, say, a dwarf team. Nuffle to see here, dipping into bonus time. They've used a little more than a minute. Got a 3-die out of their ogre. They're going to get the knockdown. And 2 stuns on this turn. Well done. Successfully picks up the ball here and has it on his own 16-yard line. Elfitus Australis now for their first turn in the second half. large blitz into a pow on the number 4 blocker. Looking for a massive 10 plus. One-man player deficit for Elfitus Australis. 2 players stunned, and now applying pressure to the ball carrier. This is a little different from the situation we saw in the first half of the game, and that is simply because this Elvish team has the speed advantage and their high agility. So even if you put say a single tackle zone on them, they don't care so much. Nuffle to see here is going to have a plan against this aggressive elf defense. Scotty Pippen, the War Dancer. Remember that both War Dancers, level 1, are blodgers. They also have leap. We saw that used to great effect in the old version of the rules. Still a pretty good skill. And here's the second one. Michael Jordan's going to cross the line of scrimmage as well. So both line dancers, both War Dancers have crossed into enemy territory. Could you imagine if they were line dancers? Yeah, that's that tackle zone. They'll roll a 2 plus here, a 2 plus there, with no fear. Square dancers. Ending the turn here, taking some dodges. Doesn't want to give up those blocks with these fragile pieces. Wants to try to hold this Chaos team to a blitz. Man, what a team that would be. Line dancers, square dancers, break dancers. Two-die blitz gets this turn underway. A push on Michael Jordan unless a reroll is spent. He might spend it. If you can knock down a War Dancer, then, in my opinion, if you can knock down a War Dancer, you need the foul to knock them down. They're so important to this team that if you can knock them down, then you go in for the foul and you try to remove them. Pole dancers? Oh my goodness, we have to kit bash this team. Well, currently on the 4-yard line of Nuffle to see here, they're setting up a cage. Gets an assist against Michael Jordan. Remember, the War Dancer does have the leap skill. It used to be straight up free, but not anymore. So you can see it simply reduces the agility penalty by 1. Still a fairly good skill, though. Now pulls in the front right corner of this tight cage. Takes a 1-die against Chimichurri, gets pushed. Chimichurri on the left side of the cage. Elfitus Australis. They have elected to apply heavy pressure to this Chaos team. We'll see what they do here in turn 10. Oh, belly dancers. Shifting players around in the backfield. Gets the 2-die on Stereognosis. Double pals here with the star player Eldril Sidewinder. Breaks armor too. Got a KO. That's a star player. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. 10v10 on the pitch now. Boo Polish asks, how many dead elves? Sadly, none. No dead elves. Wait, I can't say sadly. I can't say sadly. No dead elves. Yet. You could have a ballet dancer. 2-die Blitz gets a knock on Presbyopia. Got a good stun here. If we want to get into crossovers, we could have like the Dune face dancers. Get on this, GW. 2-die block into double skulls, but plenty of rerolls. This will work out due to the block skill on that War Dancer. Cracks open the front left of this cage. Blitz has already been spent. Dodges away from the Ogre. Dodges another one of these elves away from the Ogre. Ogre on the front right side of the cage. And another dodge, this time by Old Branch in the right wide zone. Turn 11 for Nuffle to see here. Might be tempted to go this way to open up a hole, but then he's committed to the right wide zone. And I don't think he wants to do that. Looks like he might indeed be doing that. 2-die Blitz. This works out due to the block skill. Oh, both down result means he's going to have to remain marked by the number 2 blocker, who is on his team, so not marking him. Oh man, it's been a day. Failed the boneheaded roll with the Ogre. That's an unfortunate loss for Calaphius here. That Ogre, lots of strength, who's not exerting any tackle zones until he succeeds on that boneheaded roll in a future turn. So he is trying to commit to this right wide zone. He opened up that hole. And there it is. The ball's going to advance to the opposing 6-yard line over in the right wide zone. .11 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of players to move, but if you're committing, you may as well commit. It's going to be a fist fight for the rest of this half, I wager. You have to be really careful when you start filling in spaces next to your ball carrier or next to a player you want to protect. And that's because, so in the game of Blood Bowl, let's say, you know, this is the player I want to block, this is where I am. If you get a pushback result, whether that's a POW or a push, you get your choice of the 3 spaces behind that you want to push them to. If any of those spaces are not open, you have to choose one that is open. Only when all of them are not open do you get to choose one of those and get a chain block. So if you set up in such a way where maybe like you have a guy here and, well, let's do it like over here, right? Maybe you have a guy here and you have a guy here, right? Well, now, you know, if maybe I'm coming this way, all I need to do is fill in this, right? Or even if I come straight ahead, if I can just fill this in, or I guess fill this in, well, now I have covered all the spaces, right, around you, and now I get to choose where you go. And this is a way for me to often set up surfs or advantageous chain blocks. The defense now with just the wide zone to defend, they're going to collapse down on it. The risk of committing to a wide zone is that you lose options. So if you think of a fighting game, right? If I'm in the center of the stage, I can move forward, I can move backwards. When I'm in the corner, all I can do is move forward, and usually my opponent is there, right? So I'm at a disadvantage. Same thing in this game. Oh, good removal here. Good removal by this Wood Elf team. Are they juicing? What is happening? Same thing in this game, right? So if I'm at mid-pitch, you know, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here. I mean, I could even retreat, right? I have all these options. Or even move laterally. And now I've made a chaos symbol. But now, when I'm doing that, that means the defender has so many angles they need to defend, right? They have to defend the entire width of the pitch, basically. They only have 11 players. If I commit to a wide zone, well now, right, I can't go this way. I can't go this way. I can't go this way. So they don't have to defend anything here. So now they find themselves with sort of free players who've been freed up, so to speak. So they can cover the front, they can cover the side, and now the offense is stuck. They have nowhere to go. And that's the risk with committing to a wide zone. You'll see slower teams really fight for mid-pitch just to retain those options. And Doug the Minotaur says the War Dancers have hidden Mighty Blow. Oh, did I turn on War Dancer Mighty Blow? Did I turn that on in the in the league settings? Two-die block here is not going to work out in the double skull. Oh, no! Re-rolled it into double skulls. Got nothing out of it. That is a turnover. Final turn of the third quarter coming up. Taking the blocks without the block skill. A lot more risky than it seems at first blush. Block skill would have saved him there. Got Nuffle out of it. Two-die blitz on the ball carrier here against Keratitis. He will get the knockdown. Pushes the ball carrier to the sideline. Where is the ball? Going to bounce out of bounds. It gets thrown back in. Oh boy, gets thrown in on Elfitus Australis's, I'm sorry, on Nuffle to see here's 14-yard line. Good blitz by the War Dancer. After that failed block by the chosen blocker. Ball bounces out of bounds. It gets thrown back in on Nuffle to see here's side of the pitch. And now they are very strongly on the back foot. 2 rushes by the catcher, that MA8 catcher. Almost marking the ball. 4th quarter begins. Nuffle to see here, losing this ball after a failed block. They're going to start with a 3-die block by the Ogre. They get a push out of this on Old Branch, the number 5 lineman. They have 4 turns to get on the board here. A number of free players. Here's one. We rush into position to take a mark on Alan Parsons, the number 3 catcher, who's threatening to grab that ball and score. $50 seconds left on the clock here for Nuffle to see here. We're really trying to figure out how they're going to secure this ball and be able to keep the offense going. Stand up blitz. 2-die blitz. Look at the knockdown against the number 4 lineman. Got the surf rather. Well done. Two-die block on Zangief. Great armor breaker. Got a stun. Still has to get people back on this ball. A little over 5 seconds on the bonus clock for Nuffle to see here. They have 2 rerolls left for the game. Blocker's going to pull back and mark Eldril Sidewinder. Wow, what's happening here? Is that the grass? Oh, it's the shadows on the shader. Four minutes, 30 seconds left on the bonus clock for Nuffle to see here. They have a free player here and a free player here. They've moved one back. Going for the ball pickup after the rush. 3+ pickup. Spends a reroll. He says, I don't have time for this. Myopia in possession of the ball. He's the strip ball Russell player. And then pulls back Dak Cryostenosis, number 10 lineman. Takes a 1-die block on Chimichurri. Only gets a push out of it. Well, 6th top 4 placement from this competition. Or, this competition would mark 6. He hasn't placed top 4 6 times in a single competition because that doesn't make any sense. Turn 13. Back to Elfitus Australis. Two plus dodge by the catcher to mark the ball carrier. Strength 2 pieces, you might be afraid to put them into harm's way, but often if they're strength 2, they're really fast. I mean, that's not always the case, but MA8 means you can get anywhere. 2-die blitz. This will be the knockdown he's looking for on Myopia. Let's see where this ball bounces. Into the hand. There we go. Lost the peripherals again. Into the hands of the catcher. This is bad news for Nuffle to see here. Failed dodge by the War Dancer. Scotty Pippen is going to be stunned. With just 3 turns left for Nuffle to see here. The ball is in the hands of an opposing piece. Alan Parsons, the number 3 catcher. It means he's got to blitz that catcher down. Then he needs to pick up the ball. Then he needs to get it to safety. And with 3 turns left, he's got to move. One reroll left. He's taking blocks. Ooh, I'd be scary. I'd be scary? I'd be scared. Gets the knockdown. Eric, newcomer to the league, has remained at the top of the standings in Division B, all competition long. We're at the midway point here in Week 5. 9 weeks in regulation play before they cut the top 4. The top 2 teams in each division will advance to the semifinals for the Spike Magazine Trophy. The finalists will earn an invitation to this season's Blood Bowl. The winner of the competition will advance to the Blood Bowl in the upper bracket, while the runner-up will advance to the Blood Bowl in the lower bracket. The lower bracket dukes it out until there's a winner, and the winner then advances to the upper bracket. Stand-up blitz and a double pals on the catcher. We'll see if Alan Parsons stays on the pitch. He does indeed, and that ball's going to scatter right where it was. 3 turns left. Do you risk it? I think he's got to make something happen. He says no thank you. Oh, he pulls another player back. So what he needs to be thinking about now, with turn 15 coming up, 3 players back. If he wants to get down pitch, he needs to start thinking about handoff, pass to score. Obviously, he doesn't want to roll that many dice if at all possible. But if he can't make the safe stuff happen, he needs to start setting up to at least have an opportunity to score. Gets a good removal here with the Ogre. Trying to get every advantage he can. Turn 14 for Elfitus Australis. They have 3 rerolls left in this game. In the old version of the rules, you could only spend 1 team reroll per turn. In this version of the rules, you can spend as many as you like. You just can't re-roll a die pool more than once. After the defense knocked the ball out of the hands of Nuffle to see here, way back on Elfitus Australis' own 6-yard line, the ball was knocked out of bounds, thrown back in right about here, where it has remained ever since. Both teams fighting desperately for the ball. Elfitus Australis trying to stop Nuffle to see here from scoring. Nuffle to see here trying to stop Elfitus Australis from going up 2-0 and clinching the game. We've seen no hypno use with Eldril at all this game. Good 2+ dodge by the catcher. Catcher remaining on the pitch, marking myopia. Poacher the Panther is going to stand up off the right sideline. Back to mid-pitch on Elfitus' 4-yard line. And now 2-die blitz against myopia. This will be a knockdown. He's looking for a 9+. He's got it. Got the removal, too. No reason to get risky. Stays put with the blitzer. Removal after removal. Losing these very important players by the ball carrier means it's another turn that you're losing. Another turn where you got to get a player into position to get at this ball. And it's another turn that you just don't have. Hank the Ranger says PED testing on the L's after the game. Dead Freddy says L's are smashing chaos in the face. They are indeed. 3+ pickup. Let's go. Eldril, Sidewinder himself, in possession of the ball. A 2+ dodge with the dodge skill. And Elfitus Australis will go up 2-0. He's going to stop right outside the end zone. Probably plot. No, not scoring. Dead Freddy says elves are smashing chaos in the face. Spook Polish says what elves should only remove themselves. He might be thinking about maybe he wants to get this out of the hands of Eldril so he can get the SPP for the touchdown. When you hire a star player, whatever SPP they get, you don't get to keep. That's theirs. Removal here by Nuffle to see here, but they're running out of time. Turn 15, they've got to end this turn in scoring position. They are not there yet. If he can get this ball in the hands of the catcher, that'd be lovely for Elfitus Australis. Get another free SPP, bringing him up to 6. That'll get them a level up. 2-die blitz only gets a push out of this on the number 9 lineman. He'll stay put. Yeah, he'll stay put so he can. Boy, is he gonna try to go after this ball with the blitzer? Oh man. Yeah, I think that'd be ridiculous. He's gonna move in for the assist against Michael Jordan, but he's not gonna get the knockdown here. Only gets a push. Still hasn't put anybody in scoring position. He's got to get somebody down there. Probably a Beastman, number 6. Looks like he's setting up for the foul instead. Giving up on scoring. He gets a KO out of the foul. That's really not what he was looking for. He was looking for some SPP there. Gives up on the opportunity to score, and that will be the game. Elfitus Australis is going to win this one. At least 1-0, more than likely 2-0. Brutal game. Look at what these wood elves have wrought. Wait, over here. Man, oh man. Yeah, got the handoff to the catcher. Real smart play there by Eric. Looking for some more SPP here. Can he get it with a 9+? Cannot. Blitz has been spent. I think you just want to save players at this point. Panther just runs to safety. Well, spins the reroll, yeah. Runs to safety. Not running to safety. He's running into the game. He's afraid of the blocker here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, not likely, but still, I understand. I understand. Turn 16 for Nuffle to see here. They cannot score. They take that 2-die block they were given. They're going to have to re-roll this. And they get a push. The Panther stays alive. Takes a mark on Michael Jordan. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz on Michael Jordan. Needs a pal. You got it. Can he get an 8+? Can he get something? He cannot. Tried to rush to mark the ball carrier. Failed. Failed the rush. And Elfitus Australis is going to win this one 2-0. Congratulations to Eric. Oh man, failed the rush. Doesn't matter much anyway, but you know, 2 TDs, 2 DDs, and I think with this, Elfitus Australis is not going to share first place. They're going to have first place all to themselves. Dead Fred says foul, obviously. I have to imagine he wants this SVP. I want him to run around the Beastman. Just one, yeah. Ah, well done. 2-0. Elfitus Australis is gonna win this game. Congratulations. Oh man, what a game. What a game. Eric continuing to stay at the top of Division B, at the tippy top. With that 2-0 win, they advance into first place, knocking Doug the Minotaur down in second place. They have the same record. The way standings work in the league, you get 3 points per win, 1 point per draw. That is how you are ranked. If there is a tie, then it goes to who beat whom. If they haven't played or no one beat or one team didn't beat the other, they drew, then it goes to TD differential, and that's where you can see the tiebreaker here. Elfitus Australis has a TD diff of 6+ versus 5+. That's why they're ahead. The final tiebreaker is how many touchdowns you scored, and they would be in the lead there as well. They scored 8 opposed to 7. So very well played by both coaches there, and Eric will come out on top 2-0 to win this one. Eric Leinhardt said, once the game started, I realized that I don't know how to use Hypnotize. I was like, why aren't you using the Hypno skill? Fair enough. And that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for coming out and watching. We've got plenty of more action in Week 5 and plenty more weeks of Blood Bowl to go. We have 9 weeks of regular play in the Spike Magazine trophy until they cut the top 4. And then we have the Dungeon Bowl that's open to anyone who wishes to play, whether you a veteran of the game or brand new to the game. We'd love to have you. So if you want to check that out and sign up for our Dungeon Bowl once that begins, you can go there. You can hang out with hang out in our Discord. We'll let you know how it starts and how to sign up and all that good stuff. But this week we've got more games starting tomorrow, Tuesday, April 30th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's UTC -4. We're going to have another double header. We're going to have I Want to Be Like Doug versus Subductus Superkilocarpters, Richard Cranium versus Berserker Tempest. That's Dwarf versus Underworld. And then immediately after that game at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to have Stairway to Nuffle versus Nevagana El Numerino versus Chime. Again, that's Underworld, but this time facing off against Orcs. Hope to see you here. I hope you love this game. I love this game very, very much. We have one more game to schedule this week, and when that game gets scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's maml.club here on Twitch or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is so much fun. Where else can you beat up on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? In a game of football where you can have wizards. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until tomorrow night, April 30th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Monday evening.